I've already made up my mind. And he went with it, and that's what makes this car, you know what I mean? As far as the popularity of it is all because of that, the mural theme of Breaking Bad. So it was all Alberto's idea for that.
Don't worry, this guy didn't watch the show either.
I didn't watch the show either until at the end.
It's funny too because
This guy used to be on me all the time. Watch it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's the last thing I want to do. And then you start watching it later, you can't turn the thing off.
Yeah, you can't. That's what happened with me. And it's funny because
And then you have nightmares.
I get hit up on Instagram and Facebook all the time of people sending me pictures of tattoos. They think I'm some Breaking Bad fanatic, and I'm not. You know what I mean? I watched it, I binge watched it, but I'm not like a big fanatic like everybody thinks. And it's funny because people are always sending me tattoos and pictures and drawings of the different characters. And
when you did the patterned out roof,
the patterned out roof,
for you?
that's all Pablo, Candy and Chrome, and when I got the car was already painted. This body color was already here. That's the only thing on this car that I didn't touch was the body color. I mean, we re-cleared it and stuff like that, and it had a bunch of like Sharpie murals. Somebody hand drew with a Sharpie, and it was like Day of the Dead type stuff. And it was on the roof and on the frame, and that was the first thing that had to go. So it took me a while to figure out who I wanted to go with. There were so many different painters, and I ended up getting a hold of Pablo, and he came and did the roof first, and the package tray and the dash. And then after that, I brought him back and do the frame and the wheels, and I've had him back at my house 4 or 5 times doing different stuff.
But you're hands-on the whole build. Right?
Oh,
Where you can't paint and do upholstery, somebody else will do that.
From
But putting it together and doing, you're in here.
Oh, 100%. Like
You yourself or?
Yes. I mean, I have buddies here. My buddy Taco from Woodland, he's done a lot with me. My buddy Jim Basco, he's done some wiring and all kinds of different stuff. He's probably the one that did the most hands-on with me on this build is my buddy Jim. And but I've had people always think, oh man, you know, you're building this, you're building that, but it's not. You're not building it by yourself. It's a team. No matter what you could do, unless you're a Johnny Salters will build it from everything from start to finish.
On his own?
On his own. Glass work, paint.
Because I want to make a comparison with your 63 building an original car like that, and then to win 3 years in a row is impossible.
Right.
And then compared to building something like this, which one's harder? Which one's more complicated?
Well, the complicated, the biggest thing for me on this one was my 63. That one I did like almost, I mean, a buddy of mine painted the body of it, but I redid the whole undercarriage myself, the engine compartment, the trunk. You know, that thing was built in the garage too, in a one-car garage. And that one I had a little bit more hands-on because I didn't have engravers that I had to wait on. I didn't have chromers that I was chroming and mural guys. So with this, my biggest issue is my patience. You know what I mean? Like when I'm at the mercy of other people, when I want something done and I got a plan and I got an idea, like I'm a little pushy, you know what I mean? And I'm on these guys and they got other business to do too. You know what I mean? I'm not the only guys that they do work for. So that's my biggest struggle is my patience, because when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go, and I want it done. Like I basically want them to drop doing everything they're doing and it doesn't work that way. But that was my biggest hang up, is being at the mercy of other people. Mike will tell you.
That's him.
Mike will tell you. And I sometimes get a little bossy, you know what I mean? And I sometimes get a little, but, well, the car, I mean, yeah, I need to quit. I need to stop, but the reason why I'm doing the things I'm doing now this year is because I was kind of done showing it. And Michelle was wanting to keep showing and there was a few things on here that I had that's always bugged me that I never finished. So I told her, if we're gonna show it again, I gotta fix all those little things that's been bugging me. And then those little things kind of led on to some other things that, you know, once you open something up, you're like, I could do this, I could do that. But I did a few things on the interior, some upgrades. Did a few little small upgrades in the trunk that I'm still working on right now. I got it torn apart, as you can see. And then I'm gonna pull my bumpers off and box in my bumper brackets and stuff like that. just to give it a.
Did you pull them off just to clean the paint behind them? And it's a stroker engine, right?
383 stroker.
383. You want to explain why you went that? Is it because of your brothers or?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked real lopey motors. You know what I mean? Like a hot rod style. I like to hear that big cam. Unfortunately, when I went with this, Rex Hutchison Racing built this motor for me, and it's got a really big cam in it. But unfortunately, with the way the intakes is set up, the single runners on the carburetors, that after the engine was built, he was like, "Hey, I don't know how to break it to you, but you're not going to hear that cam in that motor, the way the intake is set up." So it doesn't sound like I want it to sound, but I've always been a big on blown motors and big blocks, and I've always liked that hot rod style engine, and that's kind of why I went with this. I told him I wanted about somewhere around 500 horse, and when we dynoed it, it ended up dynoing at like 498 horse. But it's real mild sounding because of those carburetors and that intake. It doesn't have that real hot roddy sound to it.
So how do we do that here from here, Beto, real quick and get these guys?
Well, first
we should probably start here and walk in, right?
I said we always start off with the car.
But we're gonna have to walk in here, and he's gonna show us a little bit of this. Then we're gonna have to go back in the garage and finish it. Then this is a lowrider then too. For
yeah, it's gonna be all. Once I'm done with it, it's gonna be, you know, visored out and on the Pesco setup, and
Damn, this motherfucker's got an X-frame too, huh?
yeah, both of them.
Fuck. Molded arms and everything.
Okay, you'll bring us out here, Eric, and then you'll show us this too.
You guys want to turn around?
Oh, okay.
And then just kind of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think that'd probably be easier too.
Good. Back it in? No. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, back light. Cargo light?
Yeah, there's a cargo light.
Yeah. It was rapid because I didn't
I
start
was
it.
even like forklift or something, you know?
Yeah, because I was telling him, like, do we need more guys? Do we need to have more people? What? He's like, nah, 2-3 guys to do it.
Oh, he is. Come help us.
Alright, so these guys have been driving all night. Eazy Duz It from Seattle. They were doing their own thing, but we had them pick up a frame for us too.
Thanks, man.
No problem. Come on, man. Ready? You guys walk towards us? Yeah.
Be careful. Whoa.
Ready?
Get off first.
He's one on the ground.
You want to go in like this?
Yeah, like
Front end first? Yeah. Oh, here, you know. Where do you want it? Where's the car at?
Well, this is the first piece. This is the first piece of the puzzle.
That's funny. No. At my house, I got like 4 X-frames, right? Everybody's like, I was like, yeah, that's my 59, that's my 58. That's tight. All right, man.
You guys want to sit down for a little bit, have a couple beers real quick?
Yeah.
You got my shirts?
Oh. Yeah. Thank you.
So we're out here in Modesto at Doug Vigil's place. 68. 64, known as heavy hitter. This 57.
And we
I gotta ask you, man. You got the mirrors, you got the hydraulics. When are the wires coming? Are wires in the plans?
my wife won't let me put no wire wheels on it.
Man,
You know what? It looks good. It looks good like that.
it looks good, but he's got
If he could,
hydraulics.
you know,
That's what I think.
I don't think there's a.
No, actually what I'm putting on there is I'm gonna put 14.7 true rays.
Yeah.
Cause 13's in a knockoff wheel, 14's in a knockoff wheel to me don't look good. The only 14-inch wheel I think looks good are the true rays.
You know there's a guy, I forgot his name, I met in Arizona a couple of weeks ago, and he's the one that started building them, and he worked for Dayton too. And he made a 32 spoke 14.
It's not the dude from Zeus.
Skinny.
No, I mean with a big thick spoke like 2 spoke.
Like, is this paint from a newer car? Because it has a little metal flake like some of the new cars do.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah,
a pearl
it
in
says
it.
he's got a pearl on top of it, so.
No, it's mixed in.
It's mixed in it?
So it's like a gold pearl?
I don't know.
Or is it just because the way the lights
You don't
hit,
want to
they're a
pop the
little
hood
yellow?
on that one, we don't need to?
Well, that one looks good. This one don't look good. Because like I said, I was working too much chrome. No, we didn't even clean it.
No, on camera it's gonna look awesome.
And see the hose?
Yeah, but still,
But you could focus up there.
yeah.
Okay. I'll send them over here.
No, the 57 inch is real nice.
Is it like original looking or?
I wanted this car to be somewhat original.
When he started, nervous, I'm like, okay.
Well, they
where's
had
the
to do
stick?
it twice, because, somebody was calling the phone, so they had to turn all over, so every
See? She said I had to have AC.
We'll see.
It's still been helping.
That's what I gotta have in my car too.
Where'd you go vintage air?
Yeah.
And it works pretty good, huh?
Yeah. And then what I did is I got the original one,
Okay, I can
drilled
see
the
it.
hole
Yeah,
down
yeah.
there, and then I put the 2 vents there.
Yeah, nice.
And those are my hydraulic switches, those 3.
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep this one kind of original. Like, I know these speakers aren't original here, but
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
they look like they belong there.
Yeah.
Just like the speakers there, I had to go with the smaller
You could say
speaker.
that during the story.
Conspiracy, Low Creations,
Right.
um,
Were there any others?
Round Persuasions out of Stockton.
Right. If you want to give love to everybody, I know that they're all, it's
Reality.
very appreciated.
Yeah. And the one guy I got a lot of respect for is this guy, Kita.
Yeah.
When he gave me that, not this year, last year, at the last Sacramento Auto Run, he gave it to me, and I was telling him, I said, that means more to me than any trophy I've ever got. And he,
It takes something special. Yeah, I'm sure it's the chemistry. You guys went to high school together. I'm sure it's family, but there's something that's fucking stirring the pot that works here with everybody. I know the kids, and that's big time support and all that. So whatever it is that you guys do, I think it's awesome. And it's probably something that I want to have the patience to do, even in my prime days running the club. So I got to give it to you guys right off the bat, and that's why I want to do the history with you guys. And your club over the years has lasted this long. You guys are strict about your values, and you guys have bylaws?
Yeah, we do.
We do. See, I don't.
Every chapter gets a packet with the club chapter rules and all that, and they're able to tweak some of it.
Yeah.
But we have a standard that they need to go by.
Come on up.
Is the bottom line. This is a standard, and you can tweak it here and there, but there's some stuff that's got to be consistent.
Yeah, nobody's ever interfered with hierarchy here, right? Speak
No,
softly,
they know who's who.
Speak softly.
Yeah.
Carry a big stick. Are you both you guys inspirational when you speak to them, or?
I always do.
Yeah,
You do?
when we have our president's meetings, if there's an issue on the table, we'll hammer it out and let them know, if they're wrong, they're wrong.
Yeah.
And you're going to be held accountable, not just from us, but everybody in this room,
All
from
the
any
presidents
chapter.
out of there.
All the presidents there, and maybe, if you mess up, they might not support you in the next time. we don't condone that, but sometimes it does happen.
Everyone has a voice in the club.
Everybody in the chapters have their own elections for you guys. It's chain of command in every. So you got your president's car committee.
Yeah.
So what we do is for an individual chapter, we let them manage their own. We have rules that all the chapters have to abide by.
Okay.
And then we allow them to create, on top of those, more rules for their particular chapter. Because we understand that here in California, our rules may not pertain to Texas. So we allow them to do their thing as far as, but they still have to abide by the rules set by the founders.
You know, they could tweak them a little, but
they can't remove our
the foundation,
rules.
the core rules.
And for the most part, they pretty much follow the rules that we set 30 years ago.
And you guys never have a problem with anybody running the chapter? You don't care who it is as long as they just...
As long as they are voted in.
Yeah.
As long as they hold their elections.
And elections are when? Every 6 or every year? Or how do you guys do that?
We don't have a time limit on
Yeah.
their elections.
Okay.
That president will go until he's ready to step down. And
Unless
they need
him to step
they'll
down.
call us, and then we got
Then we get
Who calls you? Just anybody? Anybody's allowed to call you guys?
within that chapter.
Within that chapter.
The founding chapter is from here? Odessa?
Founding chapters from NorCal, San Jose.
San Jose.
And that's where all the 4 of us were from originally.
Okay. And you
But
guys
we all
moved back
moved
down
out
here.
here
Okay.
for housing prices.
Why Impalas only?
Let me answer that.
What the fuck, man? I have a Grand Prix I want to get in.
So we, Kiki, Bubba, myself, Robbie, we all had Impalas. We all went to school together at the same time. Kiki and I are the same age and graduated the same year. Bubba's a grade older. My brother's 2 grades older. But we had Impalas. And everybody else around us had Regals, Cutlasses. And I personally considered us like the poor boy lowriders. Because an Impala back then, in the 80s, as you know, were cheaper to get than a frickin' 81 Regal, right? So I thought we were poor boy lowriders. I was on 520s and hubcaps, hydraulics, and there's cats with Zeniths, big woofers, shit. I was like, fuck it.
6x9s and an equalizer.
Yeah. So I considered myself a poor boy lowrider. That's what I always thought. But I was looking around saying, shit, we like Impalas. We love Impalas. Let's make a car club with just Impalas. And that's what we talked about in high school. And we graduated in '85. In 1990, we finally got the ball rolling. 1990. So it took us 5 years after high school to really say, let's do this. So the reason behind just Impalas is because that was our love. You know,
it's stuck, huh?
It's stuck.
So then we start the club, and from there, you know, like we always talk about it, we tell every chapter that starts, you know, we never thought it would even go past a year. We started the club and thought, it'll just die out.
The reason it says Impalas NorCal was because we never thought that about chapters. We never thought in advance to think that we're going to have multiple chapters. So we figured in the beginning that we would say, okay, if we say NorCal, then we could get San Francisco, San Jose, East Bay, all the way down south as far as they're willing to come. So the reason it was NorCal is because of that. And then we had a car club that split up and hit us up and said, hey, we want to make a chapter. And that was our Central Coast chapter.
The first chapter.
And that was what, 2 years into our existence? 92. And they came with like 8, 7 cars.
I think so.
They came pretty strong.
We did a barbecue.
And they're still one of our strongest chapters.
Yeah. Central Coast chapter.
And then it just took off from there. Sacramento, and then it was
Fresno. There's
East Bay. You know, I mean, it's just.
Snowball
And then it kind of slowed down for a lot of years, like just kind of idle. And then all of a sudden there was a resurgence of people that were interested, and then since that day, we've been adding chapters every year.
How many chapters do you guys have?
We're almost up to 40 now.
40?
39, 38 or 39.
All over the whole country?
Well, we got a couple in the works, so
Yeah. Well, we got one as far as Sweden now.
we got one in Sweden.
All the way to Atlanta, Georgia.
What we try to do is we try to, when we open a chapter, say in Texas, we try to get to the closest chapter that we have in Texas to maybe, hey, how are these guys? You know, what kind of guys are we looking at? You know, are we looking at, you know, gangbangers or thugs or family guys or, you know, and so we kind of do our homework as far as that, but obviously Sweden, none of us were getting on a plane and going to Sweden.
Right.
So, but, you know, it's worked out. So.